Hey, this is David Plotz, CEO of CityCast. I have a favor to ask before we get to today's conversation. We're doing our annual listener survey, and it would really help us out if you took it. And even if you took it last year, we'd be grateful if you took it again, because we can't use last year's data. Please go to citycast.fm/survey to take the survey. It's only 7 minutes long, we know, because we timed it. That's citycast.fm/survey. And when you take the survey, you'll also be eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card and CityCast swag, that great CityCast swag. citycast.fm/survey.
Hey, today on CityCast Philly, it's the Friday News Roundup. How about those birds? We're also talking about the first confirmed ICE arrest under President Trump, and a new animated comedy set in Philly comes this spring. It's Friday, January 31st. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. I'm here at the Fiddler Club today with executive producer Matt Katz. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Trenae.
And producer Abby Fritz. Hey, Abby.
Good morning, Trenae.
Guys, I can't believe we have to wait one more week for the Super Bowl. Regardless of what happens in the Super Bowl, was it last Sunday freaking epic?
It was totally epic. It was such a decisive, overwhelming, and joyous defeat. I mean, the Birds scored the most points in a championship game in NFL history, 55.
That's crazy.
It was so dominating. Jalen Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns, most for a quarterback in NFL history. And our defense, do not sleep on our defense. Nolan Smith has already set an Eagles record for most sacks in a postseason. He has 4 so far in 3 games. And now we just have to stop history and make sure the Chiefs don't become the first NFL team in history to win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah,
I cannot wait till Saquon backwards backflips over the Chiefs defense and we get to party down Broad Street.
Listen,
again.
I just want to say, Coop. The whole stadium, when Cooper DeJean does anything, everyone's like, Coop. The reason why I can be so bassy today is because, I haven't had a voice since Sunday.
Because you were there. You were at the link.
Can't believe it. The first touchdown, I just stood there my jaw dropped. I was just like, holy crap.
So fun.
All right.
So fun.
Even if you're not really into football, you're just going to love the vibes come Sunday. And speaking of Sunday vibes, I mean, the entire downtown was explosive. Is that a fair way to describe it?
Yeah, I mean, there were fireworks, so explosive is a totally fair way. I mean, I was on Broad Street, right? And the fireworks exploding in front of City Hall, which was awash in green light, was just such a beautiful image. And the energy down there was amazing. And from a personal perspective, we were walking down South Street over to Broad to make our pilgrimage, up to City Hall and to Billy Penn. And my 13-year-old daughter turns to me and she literally thanked me for raising her in Philly.
Oh,
and
so
yeah,
sweet.
I saw you tweet about that when that happened.
It was such a truly special moment.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry. Should I have cried?
You should have cried.
Regardless of the lack of tears, I was touched, and I also felt that she clearly was just sucking in all the beautiful energy that we were experiencing, and this sort of unique experience it is to live downtown in a city that is so obsessed with the success of its sports franchises, particularly its football team, and particularly this city, the best sports town in America. So it was just a wonderful night, and I hope we get to party again down Broad Street a week from Sunday.
I love the impromptu meetup that the city just knows to just show up downtown.
Right.
There's probably maybe friends are texting each other, but it's just just go. Everyone just go down. And who's the guy that brought the fireworks?
I know.
There was fireworks everywhere that night, like all through South Philly. I was hearing them. Yeah, it is nice to have a collective city meetup spot. Like unspoken. We all just pull up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cute, so special.
I saw some DJs out there from like social media videos. Someone got engaged.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
It's insane.
There are a couple of other spots that people gravitate toward, like Frankfurt and Cottman Avenues up in Northeast. So there's a couple of other places, but clearly like City Hall, and I think in part because it's like on the SEPTA line from the stadium, so people can just like hop on the subway and go right up to City Hall. That does seem to be the epicenter, and that's where people really want to be, and that's where they want to like feel this brotherhood and sisterhood.
You ever see anyone that you know when you're in that crowd?
Oh my God. We saw so many of our neighbors. My kids saw friends from school. I talked to my neighbor who lives behind me for the first time because we recognize each other out there. It's really so great. It's amazing. It feels like such a small community out there, not a city of 1.6 million people.
So unfortunately, though, Matt and Abby, you heard about Tyler Sabapathy, the 18-year-old Temple University student who died Tuesday from his injuries after he fell from one of those light poles. During the celebrations on Sunday, he had climbed up and then fell. They say that he fell on his back, hit his head, was rushed to Jefferson, and then 2 days later, he died. Tyler was an exercise and sport science major, and he was a gymnast. He was part of the men's gymnastics team. So our condolences go to his family. One of the questions I had during the celebrations on Sunday night was, where are all the cops? I was stuck in that gridlock traffic on Broad and Spring Garden. Like, it was not moving, right? Now, I understood because, like, everyone was happy and stuff, but then it was like, guys, we literally can't get through. Like, traffic is backed up. Like, we got to get home. And I was like, is there, like, enough police presence, like, to just direct people, keep the traffic moving? And unfortunately, there was an incident that happened. A driver had plowed into 8 people. Thank God no one had any serious life-threatening injuries. And reports say that that person who was driving the car was taken into custody.
There was also a shooting, a non-fatal shooting. Sometimes too much of a police presence can just exacerbate any tensions in the crowd and can make things worse. You do want to see some control of the crowds. I don't really know if there's an answer to these things when that many people mass together.
Yeah, it's hard. And every year when there's these types of celebrations, something happens. Like I remember the last time when the Phillies went to the World Series, someone fell through, it was like one of those bus.
Oh, the bus shelters.
Yeah, the bus shelters. And it's like, it does seem like the city should be doing something more to make sure, especially with like, you know, climbing the poles is kind of like a thing now, and being crazy on Broad. Like, these are all great celebratory things we do, but I think like prioritizing safety and making it clear that like, yes, this is funny, but this is also can be very dangerous. Like, bus structures are not meant to be stood on. Like, poles are not meant to be climbed. There should maybe be some PSAs to make sure that things like this don't happen again.
Definitely more than just greasing the poles.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
That.
And even those like metal gates or those barriers, I mean, I saw people pulling those apart. Like, I understand, you know, it feels good to celebrate, but like, definitely we want to get home and we want to be safe.
Absolutely.
And this week, Mayor Sherrell Parker said this.
You know, one of the things that you heard me mention was that we want to celebrate the moment. And we want to have a good time celebrating our Eagles in every way imaginable. But we have to do so in a way that, does not result in this kind of tragedy.
We've got more news of the week after the break.
Oh, such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com right now and get up to 45% off select styles, plus a professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
At New Balance, we believe if you run, you're a runner. However you choose to do it. Because when you're not worried about doing things the right way, you're free to discover your way. And that's what running's all about. Run your way at newbalance.com/running.
We try to stick to local news here at CityCast Philly, but this is one of those weeks when national news really reaches into our communities. Matt, you reported on immigration and customs enforcement for many years in Jersey and New York. What do you make of what ICE did in Philly this week?
Yeah, ICE, this is the Immigration Enforcement Law Enforcement Agency. They made 7 arrests at a car wash in North Philly, and this appeared to be the beginning of Trump's promised mass deportations. Axios reported that 6 of the 7 arrested were Mexican nationals, but ICE isn't talking. Philly police haven't said anything, and even the mayor hasn't addressed this as of this recording. So some context here, ICE under Biden, under Obama, they made arrests all the time of undocumented immigrants, right? And usually those immigrants had criminal charges unrelated to their immigration violations. So they were detained and then deported back to their countries of origin. The difference now is President Trump is promising mass deportations of all kinds of immigrants, including those who arrived here as kids and who don't have criminal records. So we don't know whether these arrests this week at this car wash were of the kind there which there's a precedent for, or if this is really an indication of Trump like stepping things up. But we do know that it is scaring the hell out of immigrants in this city. The Inquirer had a story this week about immigrants not showing up to church because churches are no longer protected sites as far as Trump is concerned. During the first Trump administration, several immigrants held up in churches in Philly for months on end to avoid ICE. That does not appear to be an option anymore. Businesses in the Italian market this week were closed because immigrant workers were scared to show up to work. They're worrying about an ICE raid. Migrant workers were reportedly avoiding going to Home Depot where they can gather to look for day jobs. They were avoiding going to Wawa, all for fear of arrest. So Axios reported that African immigrants in Southwest Philly have been staying home. So the rumors can really lead to fear, and they might not be fact-based. But I mean, do you leave your home if you or don't have documents to live here legally? If you're concerned that ICE is coming out? And I mean, I think that's really the story right now. We're not seeing yet mass detention and deportations of the some 47,000 undocumented immigrants in Philadelphia, but the fear is the profound effect that's happening on the ground, and maybe that's ultimately part of the point.
Yeah, and I don't know, like you were talking about how a lot of this hasn't been confirmed yet, but I know I've been seeing on social media a lot of people that I know in the area are like really keeping a watch out for when they see ICE vehicles and things like that. So, I mean, that's like half of my feed at this point, especially like reels and stuff are just like, hey, I spotted ICE here. So people are really on the lookout for this increased presence. But I mean, this isn't also the first time that like ICE has been in Philly. ICE has been here under Biden, under Obama, and has made arrests, but I think everybody is on alert because of the rhetoric that the new president has. Also on alert in Philly this week, particularly for federal workers, People have been talking about the federal funding freeze that happened on Monday. President Trump put out a memo that stopped federal funding of grants and other programs. And he specifically said he would be targeting, quote unquote, woke ideologies in particular, which seems pretty subjective to me. Like, I don't really know if there's a running definition that everybody would know what woke means. I think maybe we have an idea, but it wasn't clear. And I think that vagueness kind of led to some of the chaos that ensued. According to the Inquirer, many programs and organizations receiving funding went into a flurry trying to figure out if their funding would be affected and how this was going to shape, finances moving forward of tons of different public programs. This could have affected hundreds of programs and called into question trillions of dollars in funding. So this is not little. This is huge. The federal government has a big hand in a lot of programs that affect PA, every state in the country, and Philadelphia. I read in that same Inquirer article about how health providers in Philly were really having a hard time staying focused at work because of this funding panic. And that was specifically because federal computer systems relating to Medicaid and PA went down on Tuesday. So everybody was this is serious. We don't know what's going to be on the chopping block. And people were trying to figure it out. But then on Tuesday, a federal judge temporarily blocked this order. And then after all of that confusion on Wednesday, the Office of Management and Budget rescinded it. So that was the president's officials coming out and being okay, pause. But they said they are still going to review federal funding and try to find places to cut.
A lot of people had sleepless weeks because of this chaos.
It wasn't just the federal funding too. It was the federal jobs.
Yes.
Right? Because they were trying to buy people out for 8 months of severance.
Uh-huh. This affected so many parts of our state and city. I mean, we have national historical locations. Those are all federal workers. We have tons of programs that benefit from it. So it was really crazy. But hopefully this means that, the federal funding cuts, any more announcements of it will be a little more specific and clear, because I think the vagueness of it was really what fostered this chaos. And it hopefully gives states also time to plan for any cuts in funding if they think they might be one of the programs that are cut.
It's just so unsettling how these decisions are being made.
Yeah.
And this buildup of fear. That's what I don't like.
Yeah. And it shows how powerful fear is, how much it can cause disruptions in daily life and basic functionings of our government. I don't think anyone wants that type of chaos. Hopefully, if there are cuts, we'll be able to have a little more of a organized rollout of them.
And prepare for it.
Yes, yes.
We've got more news after the break.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Other than the birds getting to the Super Bowl, there's been some other great things happening in the city.
Yeah, there's a ton going on. I read in Variety this week that there is a series based on Philly coming out in the spring, which I think you might know who's heading it. Kevin Hart, who was born and raised in Philly, is creating this animated series based off his own life.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for this.
Trenae, you talked with the creators of Universal Basic Guys, which was also kind of a Philly, South Jersey show. And now we're getting another cool adult animated series, which should be fun.
I know, this is now what? This will be the 4th Philly-focused show on a national stage. Got Abbott, It's Always Sunny, Universal Basic Guys, and now Lil Kev.
Yeah, Lil Kev. And it's going to be based on Hart's childhood, like I said, and it'll be set in North Philly in 1993. It's going to be on BET Plus. Hart's going to be the executive producer and will voice the lead character. And then they already have a star-studded cast going for this. Wanda Sykes is going to play his mom, and Dion Cole will play his uncle. So I'm excited.
Hart grew up in North Philly. He went to George Washington High School, did some college at Community College in Philadelphia. And I mean, Abbott is Abbott like technically supposed to be in South Philly? Do we know where Abbott Elementary
I
is?
think it was Abbott's West Philly.
Yeah, it's meant to be in West.
Oh, Abbott's West Philly. Okay, so now hopefully this will shine some light on North Philly.
Where's It's Always Sunny?
That's South Philly, I think.
Okay. So we're hitting, and then Universal Basic Guys is South Jersey.
South Jersey.
We're all over the region.
Matt,
Yeah.
what are you doing this weekend?
Well, guys, we're all hanging out. We're all going to the Tasties.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're going to eat.
So we are a sports
drink.
town. Right, for sure. We are a sports town, but we're also very much a food town. And the Tasties is this big event sponsored by our friends over at the Delicious City Philly podcast. And it's basically like the Grammy Awards for Philly food, right? So it's over at Live Casino. There's this award ceremony first, and then there's this big after party. They're going to give out winners for like best chef and restaurant of the year, best cocktail program, that kind of thing. I can't wait. I can't wait to like nerd out with all these like chefs whom I've never met, but whose food I've eaten. I think it'll be very cool. And then we're going to do an episode, guys. Hopefully from there, we'll record it from there, and then it'll come out next week.
Guys, we're going to be hanging out with some James Beard finalist nominees. I'm so excited.
Speaking of food, it's going to be a weekend of food for me, at least, because we're going to be at the Tasties on Sunday. And on Saturday, I'm going to go check out Dim Sum Garden's new location.
New location?
Oh, yeah.
What?
They have a new location. They moved. All my friends love this spot. Like, it's our go-to brunch spot. It's a beloved restaurant in Chinatown, and that was open at their last location on Race Street for 12 years. So they've been there for a while. Now they're moving literally like a couple storefronts down over to 1024 Race to have a little more room. They want to do a little more.
And there was always a line getting in there. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like, it was a very like skinny restaurant, and it felt very like always packed. But now their new location, they opened on Monday. It's a bigger space. They have a full bar, a karaoke room, and a party space. Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy for them.
Yeah. They're keeping the food the same. All the stuff they're known and loved for, like the soup dumplings. We can't not mention them. And last time I tried their pumpkin cakes, which I loved. It was like a fried little treat with pumpkin filling. It was a perfect like little sweet addition to my usual dim sum order. Yeah, so I'm going to go see how that new location looks.
Enjoy. Report back.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Trenae?
I, like every weekend, I have no idea what I'm doing. But, guys, the Independence Blue Cross Broad Street Run Lottery is going to open on Saturday, February 1st, and it runs through February 15th. I have done the Broad Street Run 3 times in my life.
Whoa. Really?
Yes. If you're new to Philly, I would say sign up and see if you can get in to the lottery and just do it. Like, it's one of those like Super Bowl celebration downtown type of events where you see people that you know. You get to run from North Philly down to South Philly. The crowd of onlookers are just cheering you on, making you laugh because of the funny signs that they have. And if you don't want to run or walk, you can also volunteer along Broad Street by handing out water.
Nice.
Love it.
That sounds fun.
And if you need something else to do on Sunday, wake up really, really early and wait for Punxsutawney Phil. It's Groundhog's Day. Will he or won't he see his shadow?
I do follow this story, but just for the record, it's ridiculous.
I love it. I love how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
Like a while back, we interviewed Punxsutawney Phil's handler, and I like think about that interview like semi-regularly because it was just so funny. So yeah, definitely if you want some good Punxsutawney Phil content, go back and listen to that episode.
Well, Matt, Abby, I'll see you guys on Sunday for the Tasties. Thanks for joining me today on CityCast Philly.
Looking forward to it, guys.
Thanks so much, Trenae.
What a week, but we made it. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. Our executive producer is Matt Katz. Our producers are Abby Fritz and Selena Say Reynolds. Our Hey Philly newsletter editors are Siani Colon and Ava Wynowski. And our host is me, Trenae Nuri. Music is by Philly's own Interminable, with additional music from All the Kimonos. If you enjoyed this show, please tell a friend and watch Punxsutawney Phil this weekend. Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Philly. We'll be back Monday morning with more news from around the city. Have a great weekend and be safe, y'all. Bye.